We believe in happiness and stability, a world filled with merry citizens and no hardships. This world was only achievable with the creation of our mesmerizing class system. Thank Ford for it, allowing us alphas to do the jobs we love while having everybody else jolly and satisfied in their own jobs too. Oh, Ford, how fantastic it is. Together, all 5 castes create this beautiful community that we now know, love, and cherish. It's hard to imagine a world where this could have ever existed without this classification method. However, there has been a time, many moons ago, 640 years ago, where things were not always like so. 8 years before Ford, the concept of differentiating barriers between people was not yet thought of, let alone established. Although there were clearly different groups of people, divided by race, gender, sexual orientation, and so on. Instead, they had this thing which they called the American dream, by which they swore and lived by. The belief that if one worked extremely hard, anything that one dreamed of, one could achieve. Now we'll look at some security footage that captured the rant of a man who was born into a terribly poor family, but was determined to make it out of poverty. He dedicated himself to his studies and committed to himself to one day make it out of the slums and create a beautiful life for himself and his family. Let's take a look.
This is ridiculous. 4 years of university and I'm stuck here. I was really hoping I could do more with my life. After seeing mom and dad struggle all the years growing up, being so poor, fighting to provide for me every day. Even with straight A's and a scholarship, all I have to show for is $76,000 of debt. I was hoping I could provide for my family and not make them go through this someday. Apparently I was wrong. The American dream, they said. You can do whatever you want. Look where that's gotten me. Stuck in a bar, up to my eyeballs in debt, making minimum wage, living the dream. Got nothing to show for it.
The setbacks came one after another, even though Jordan seemed to be precisely following everything the American dream claimed. Cases like Jordan were numerous. Without a caste system, time and time again, people found themselves outside of their element. Desperation, frustration, dissatisfaction, and unhappiness were a common plague. 8 years later, stability dawned, and our Sir Henry Ford's time was now upon us. Year 1. The idea of a system that could guarantee every individual's happiness and satisfaction and ultimately lead to stability was greeted with great enthusiasm. This creed was set and the birth of the class system was upon us, explicitly separating levels: alphas, betas, gammas, deltas, and epsilons. The acceptance of the system, a world where every individual knows their place in society and can do their jobs accordingly. Their jobs meet their capabilities and leave them fulfilled. It gives everyone purpose, knowing that they are useful in helping the community. No matter how infantile one's tasks may seem in comparison to a higher class, everyone plays a role that supports society. At the end of the day, the alcohol-infused, bottle-born semi-moron epsilon and the high-performance alpha both play a critical role in society's well-being. However, given enough time passing, it's almost inevitable that even something as pure as the caste system could find its challengers. And so it was, a group of people started to doubt the system and wondered what would happen if everyone were made equal, if everyone were an alpha. Thus the Cypress experiment was created, which a group of alphas gathered together and were sent to live on an island where they would be free from the separating classes. What happened, you may ask? The first few years were peaceful, but eventually tension broke out. With so many capable people but limited number of jobs, groups of people inevitably ended up working below their skill level, or even worse, not working at all. Those who had jobs, no matter how epsilon-like they seemed, became desperate to keep their jobs, and those without jobs began demanding more jobs with even better pay. Eventually rioting began, and by the end of 6 years on the island, a first-class civil war broke out, and 19,000 of the island's 22,000 inhabitants were killed. The remaining survivors then desperately pleaded with the world controllers to resume control, and this was the last we've ever seen from an all-alpha society.